All right, so I just got done watching Tariq Nasheed's Twitter space, or the space formerly known as Twitter, and he was going in on Luke and whatnot. But the part that pretty much caught my interest was when he was talking about the Central Park Five, and I'm gonna specifically stay on that. Now he was saying that the Central Park Five was at the DNC, and they were talking at the DNC when it came to Trump and whatnot. And Tariq Nasheed was saying, and I'm just paraphrasing that, it was the Democrats that locked those brothers up, and a Puerto Rican tether was the one that pretty much was the culprit behind the crime. And I have some corrections that I pretty much want to add on to this. First off, Puerto Ricans aren't tethers. It's obvious that Tariq Nasheed has smoke for the Puerto Ricans, and it stems from his documentary. I mean, there was a Puerto Rican photographer that was responsible for temporarily putting Tariq Nasheed's doc on ice. And, Tariq Nasheed claims that Puerto Ricans pretty much had nothing to do with the origins of hip hop and whatnot. So, yeah, I could see Tariq Nasheed's beef with them, but Puerto Ricans aren't tethers. They're not tethers in the slightest. And the last I checked, Puerto Rico is like a territory of the United States. So how does that make them tethers? And if we want to go and do a further dive into that, there were slaves on the island of Puerto Rico as well. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, something. Puerto Ricans didn't view themselves as black, and some of them think they're white. And I mean, that's a whole different conversation. I can do a whole deep dive on, but I ain't gonna go in that rabbit hole. I just want to say that Puerto Ricans aren't tethers, so we can drop that talk. Now, when it comes to the Central Park Five and whatnot, it would make sense for them to have smoke for Trump because one, Trump took out that full page ad on them, and two, when the Central Park Five was found innocent and exonerated of all charges later, Donald Trump didn't issue an apology. Now, you would think that since Donald Trump is running for office and the RNC already had their convention, they would have invited the Central Park Five to come to the convention, and Donald Trump would have apologized to the Central Park Five right there in front of everybody and made amends for it. But he wouldn't do that. He's not going to do that because that wouldn't fly with his constituency, because the biggest reason is that his constituency, which Donald Trump is the face of, they see black people as criminals. They see them as people that should be put down like rabid dogs. So for Trump to go ahead and apologize to those brothers, that would alienate a lot of people that vote and back Trump, and Trump wouldn't get in office if he was to do that. But I say if Trump did that, he would gain a lot of black support, and what, especially if he was genuine about it. But he doesn't want to do that. He wants to still ingratiate himself with the racist support that's behind him. Now, Tariq Nasheed is talking about his gripe is, well, something, they should have smoke for the Democrats that locked him up and had their lives taken away from them for years. And Tariq has a point in that regard. However, the last I checked, Linda Fairstein, who's the prosecutor in that case, isn't running for higher office. And two, Fairstein didn't put out a full page ad maligning their reputation. So unless she was going to do any of those things, would it really make sense for them to go after her publicly? I'm sure that they have as much smoke for her like they do Donald Trump. And I'm sure there'll come a day and time where they'll go after her full throttle in a public forum. But at that point in time at the DNC convention, it was all about Trump because Kamala Harris is running against Trump. She's not running against Linda Fairstein. And we can dive into Kamala Harris's record, but that's a whole other rabbit hole that I'm not gonna get into. But it just amazes me that when your Tariq Nasheeds do all these Twitter spaces, or when black content creators in general do all these videos going against Democrats, and by all means, I'm not anointing or appointing myself as a spokesman for the Democrats, but I am a spokesman for history and common sense. That they all want to emphasize that, oh, well, when this happened, this was a democratically run city, or this was a democratically run state. And something, when I do some of these videos or commentaries, I don't really emphasize what party affiliation that person had. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, really, because a crooked person is a crooked person. It doesn't matter what side of the fence they're on or what color flag that they're flying on their flagpole. A crooked person or a twisted or unfair person is an unfair person at the end of the day. So we're saying just because a person may be with party A or party B, they're not of that, they're above that. I think we should look at the people. We shouldn't look at the parties that they belong to. But you have your Tariq Nasheeds that want to get into these waters and just want to confuse and want to mislead people, particularly our young people, on these issues. And I have to draw the line right there. And I have to push back at it because when it comes to our young people, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be encouraging them to do their due diligence and do their fact checking on this instead of just going along with whatever content creator says, including myself. You should go ahead and do your research, not just rely on the word of a content creator because he's popping and has a massive social media following. Whatever happened to the days of people, just saying, oh, okay, that sounds good, but let me go ahead and fact check it and see if the information I was presented stands the test of time and look it up for myself. They don't do that. So I'm going to continue to push back on these things. There's going to be some people that are going to jump in my comment section and say, well, you're a tether. Oh, you're a Democratic shill. Oh, you up Kamala Harris's skirt. I don't care. Hit me with your best shot, as the song says. But anyway, I'm going to stop the video right here. So audience, tell me what you think. Let me know in the comment box. This is Iron Will Media.